Well, good morning, and thank you for coming to see us and talk about In Tank by Envirocleanse. Uh, Towards the end of last year, Envirocleanse completed its pilot scale testing, both on the Golden Bear and with other engineering facilities in the United States. We got the go-ahead from Charter Brokerage, which is a Berkshire Hathaway company, to complete full-scale type approval testing using GL as the independent laboratory and the Golden Bear for the shipboard and land-based testing. So that was great. In January and February we completed the installation for the full-size testing system, and we're just over 2 months into the shipboard testing, passed all the tests so far, so exciting times. Planning and more planning. Um, a ballast water treatment system is a high performance piece of equipment, and it's completing a very difficult task of water treatment, whichever system you're using. So completing the choice of a system and the installation of a system onto a vessel, it's important to understand not only the treatment system itself, but the vessel and its operation, and how those two are going to integrate successfully. Not all systems, even in tank, will suit all vessels. Installation key points, again, consider your vessel's operation. It's the flexibility it needs to work normally and the demands of the treatment system. In tank, we believe brings a lot of unique benefits to many vessels. In tank works during the voyage, so there are no ballast treatment processes happening during the cargo operation or ballasting operations in port. These are the high value times for a vessel where it's important that the vessel is operating most efficiently. It doesn't need necessarily to be doing ballast water treatment as well as all of its other port operations. So in-tank ballasts as normal without filtration, and completes treatment during the voyage with the most efficient operation of an EC cell possible, using nice, clean ocean water, fully saline, without any contaminants or natural oils to corrode or scale on the EC cell. Is there a golden solution? Of course there's a golden solution. It's in tank. We call it a silver bullet. But seriously, no, there are no golden solutions. We like to think in tank is a silver bullet, but even in tank will not answer every question for every operator. It's important to understand, as I've said before, how the operation of the vessel will work and integrate with a ballast water treatment system and its proper operation. We think in-tank will give an owner great flexibility for its operations. The owner will be able to choose either the size of system or how long the system will take to treat the tanks. So we give a lot of flexibility. And again, we allow the owner to operate in port without any ballast water treatment activities. Training is very important. The owner needs compliance with the ballast water regulations. This is why they're buying a system. But compliance doesn't actually finish at buying a system and seeing the green light go on when it's treating. There's a lot more to compliance than just seeing that green light go on. And an owner has to work with the crew and give the crew the time and resources to complete proper training, both in the paperwork exercises, if you will, that are required, as well as the hardware training on the treatment equipment itself. It's absolutely incumbent on the manufacturers to provide good, solid, robust equipment that is relatively simple to operate. But again, it's a high performance piece of equipment, and that must be accepted by the owner, and ongoing training and resources have to be provided for the crew if compliance is going to be successfully achieved by the operator. A plan. I think that is the most important thing. I've been in the ballast water treatment industry for a long time, and I have been saying that owners should plan for a long time. But now we are seeing the US rules come into force. We are seeing US certifications being provided. We are being told by the Coast Guard that extensions, while they will still be available, are going to be harder to come by. They won't automatically be provided. We're seeing the IMO convention probably coming in on September the 8th. We'll know a little more next month. But even if it's not September the 8th of this year, it is going to happen at some point in time. The US regs are applicable today. The owner has to plan. If they have a plan, and particularly if they put in a schedule of commitments for compliance, their approach for extensions with the USCG will probably be better received than if they really don't have a plan and they're just simply asking for an extension without a rationale. The added value is if you have to have a ballast water treatment system, I understand in general they don't do much for the operation of the ship or anything for the operation of the ship except provide compliance. So if you can't add to the operation of the ship, let's try and take away from the operation of the ship as little as possible. And in-tank allows that. In-tank allows a vessel to complete its high-value operations, those operations in port, those unloading and loading operations where everything else is going on the ship, and the crew need to be concentrating on keeping that ship on schedule. In-tank allows that to happen because no treatment activities are happening during port activities. When the vessel is at sea, things are a little more relaxed. The crew's definitely still working, but they have time to complete the treatment, and in-tank allows them to move treatment from a port-based activity to an ocean-based activity. Compliance is obviously a large portion of the regulations. There's not much point in having a regulation if you're not going to enforce compliance. As I said previously, there's an awful lot of paperwork that is involved in compliance, and that must be completed by the crew. A treatment manufacturer cannot provide that. But what a treatment manufacturer can provide is a solid indication that the water they are treating and allowing to be discharged is treated in compliance with the certificate that they have received. And in-tank allows that possibly more certainly than any other treatment system on the market, because in-tank is polling the tank during treatment, and it can confirm, it can treat and go back to the tank and confirm that treatment is finished. And if treatment isn't finished, it can actually add some more active substance to ensure that treatment is finished. The same with neutralization. There's no dosing on discharge. All the dosing is done in the tank. So if there's a question of whether the tank is dosed adequately, the tank can again be polled to make sure that it has a low enough CL level to allow discharge. And if it doesn't, you can add some more neutralizer. With respect to biological compliance, in-tank allows an owner during the voyage, if it's a very long voyage, treatment may have been completed a long time ago, and the CL levels may have deteriorated to nothing, which they will eventually, or almost nothing. But if an owner wants to make sure there is no regrowth, in-tank allows the owner to add a very small dose of chlorine, say half a ppm TRO, to ensure there is no regrowth and suppress anything, any biological blooms, any algae blooms, or anything that may come out of the sediments. So we feel that we can confirm and give the owner the most confidence of treatment and compliance of any system, because we can go back and check.